Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Faywa, and let's queer up the world view. PDA leads to public caning in Indonesia under Sharia law. The country of Indonesia is a majority Muslim nation spread across a chain of islands between the Indian and Pacific Oceans. Despite roots in Islam, of the 38 provinces of Indonesia, only one has criminalized homosexuality. The province of Aceh has implemented Sharia law, punishing homosexuality with up to 100 lashes and up to 100 months in prison. The law also allows citizens to turn in others for investigation. This was the case in June when two young men, ages 20 and 21, were caught hugging and kissing in a public restroom. Despite not having sex, they were found guilty of violating laws against same-sex relations and were publicly caned on Tuesday as part of their punishment. They received 76 and 82 lashes, with the young man accused of instigating the act getting the extra lashes. Amnesty International's regional research director, Monste Ferrer, issued a statement saying, quote, "This public flogging of two young men under Aceh's Islamic Criminal Code for consensual sex is a disturbing act of state-sanctioned discrimination and cruelty. This punishment is a horrifying reminder of the institutionalized stigma and abuse faced by LGBTQ+ individuals in Aceh. Intimate relations between consenting adults should never be criminalized. Punishments such as flogging are cruel, inhumane, and degrading, and may amount to torture under international law," end quote. The law was first used in 2017 against two men accused of consensual sex and has been used against dozens of others since. Imagine being whipped in public just for hugging and kissing the person you love or just maybe that's the cruel reality right now in Indonesia, in Aceh, where these two young men had to endure these lashes earlier this week. Let's be clear. This is torture. It's state-sponsored torture. And it's a reminder that while we fight over crosswalks here, our brothers and sisters and theys and thems abroad are fighting just to freaking exist.
Yes. And you know what? We're fighting over crosswalks, but we're fighting for more than that, because we don't want the crap that's going on in Indonesia to happen here to our community. Yeah, and you never know. I know people might look and say, "Oh, you're just exaggerating," but no, one small thing can lead to a big thing.
Yeah.
And so I have to sit here and say, I'm so happy I'm here in America, although what's going on right now.
Be so happy, because you never know what's coming.
Well, that's the thing. But based on that, I just think it's horrible. Can you imagine 70-something, 80-something times?
You're 20 years old, Raji.
This is the backwards ways of some of these countries, and not that many countries like that in Africa, in Asia, but I think about these things because this country and their, international politics, and we sanction and put sanctions on other countries for different reasons. Where are the sanctions to countries like Indonesia or Afghanistan that treats women like worse than dogs?
Yeah.
And they basically third-class citizens.
Yep.
Or places where they kill gay people just for the mere act of kissing.
Yeah.
Not even having sex in public, just for kissing.
Yeah.
How backwards is that? Where is the international pressure? The international community has to put pressure on governments like Indonesia, Afghanistan, Uganda, and other places where they basically kill people just for being gay.
Yeah. But they don't care, because they put their money where their mouth is, and they put their money within things that they care about. And so, why isn't our government speaking up and threatening sanctions? Why not? I mean, listen, I've got my ass beat here in America. I've had 3 brutal attacks. So I know the reality of it. Doesn't matter whether you're here in America or not. It can happen.
Yeah.
But when you have the government that's backing it, that's like, my prayers go out to those two.
Yeah.
And to all of the LGBTQ people around the world that live in countries where it can be a matter of life and death.
Literally.
And it's sanctioned by the government. That, I mean, like, it's one thing, you know, even here in America as LGBTQ people, we have to be careful how we maneuver. And depending on what state you live in and what area of the state it just all depends.
Yeah.
But, you know, we deal with all of that, but it's not sanctioned by the government yet.
Not yet. I mean, because there are people that are calling for it to go back to when homosexuality was criminalized. You know what I mean? There are people that are asking for that to be one of the topics on the floor, you know, to be spoken about in the future.
That's
so we're not, you know, we're not far from it. You know, the fact that they're even looking at overturning a Bergefeld, you know, that means that we're not close to, that we're not far from it. The fact that I don't have decisions over my own body tells me that we're not far from that, Raji, you know? So scary times.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious. Racist. America is still very racist and still very misogynist.
Yeah.
Misogynistic.
And homophobic.
Yes.
And transphobic.
And transphobic. And all the phobics.
And all the all the phobics. You're just all scared. And that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.